guys, good afternoon and welcome to porridge bread this afternoon, which is going to be really fun, really different. I'm just a couple of minutes early because I know I've got a lot of new faces and I just wanted to make sure that you found me. So if you're on the page and you can see me, you're in the right place. So don't worry, we're going to cook everything along together as we always do. And it's really simple, really quick today. So you don't need to prep anything. I'll go through the ingredients in a minute, make sure you've all got them. So if you're here, come wave, give me a thumbs up, say hello, and I can do you some shout outs before we get starting. Hi, Andrea. Hi, Maggie. Lovely to see you guys. And it's such a horrible day today. I seem to be cooking things and sort of, hi, Flavia. I'm always thinking like, oh, it's summertime. Shall we do that? And then I think, oh, actually, it's quite nice now when it's cold outside. So this is, I know it's a sort of breakfast bread, but it's going to be really nice to have for tea. Hi, Theo. Glad you guys are here. So this is kind of like a breakfast thing because it is perfect for breakfast because it's got lots of breakfast goodies in like porridge. Which hopefully you've already got in your larder anyway. Hi, Casey Lee. And it's also really nice as like a tea bread, so you can have it shortly for tea as well, which is going to be amazing. And you can use up all those things in the cupboard. So I'm actually probably going to be emailing you the recipes now because having had weeks and weeks or months of people saying, where's my email? Now I seem to have people saying I can't find it in the Facebook group. So you don't have it. Hi, Samia. And this is actually a kind of cooking the books lesson because this is not one of my recipes. Hi, Amy and Chloe. Hi, Evie. Hi, Jack. So this is actually, I don't know if anybody has this book. It's My Fussy Eater. She's amazing. I think she's got the biggest UK family food blog, so you can check her out. Hi, Jack. And hi, Poppy and Natalie. And it's just one of the recipes I thought would be nice to give you a little bit more inspiration and get you guys cooking some different things. Not just my recipes. So you've got some others. So it's in this book, but I have put a link up. And she's got on her website as well, so you can see all the ingredients and all of the little how-tos. I'm going to do it slightly differently today, but hi, Ria. It's really, really, really simple. Nice one to do with even really teeny ones. Hi, Ariana in Bristol. Is it raining in Bristol? And hi, Barbara, Ruby, and Ava. And yes, so lots of nice things. So let me run through what you're going to need, and then you can just get all the stuff out. Don't worry about measuring it out. We're going to do all of that together. So you're going to need some porridge oats, and I know a lot of you have asked me about that. Sometimes you get these really big ones, like if I take some of these out, you might see they're really, really big flakes. Hi, Emma. So these are, oh, yeah, these are really, really big. But if you've just got regular porridge oats, yeah, exactly, jumbo oats, exactly, Charlotte. You can use whatever you've got. And I've actually got a packet that I bought a while ago. Hi, Persephone and Alithia. This one actually has seeds in it. So I'm just going to use this. I don't know if you can see in there. You'll see when I, oh, yeah, that's the problem with these paper packets. When you open them, they get holes in. So I'm going to show you those. You don't have yogurt. Is there a substitute? Yes, there absolutely is. So the substitute is just milk and a bit of lemon juice. So that's fine. A 2-pound loaf tin is a standard loaf tin. I don't know what, it's about 900 grams, but they do it in old kind of, not metric. So it's this sort of thing. If you've got like a big silver foil dish, it's a little bit bigger than that if you can have a sort of look there. But whatever you've got, so if you've got questions about something else, just ask. So yes, yogurt, you're going to need some yogurt or milk and lemon juice if you haven't got. I'm using a bit of milk as well, so you'll need milk and yogurt unless you've only got milk. Hi, James. It's raining. Yeah, it's raining here in London as well. Have you started? No, we're just going through all of our ingredients to make sure you've got everything. Do not worry. And I've got an egg as well. And then a little bit of salt, a little bit of bicarbonate of soda. And if you don't have bicarbonate of soda, you can use baking powder, but then do try and get some lemon juice. And I'll explain a bit more about that in a minute. Hello from Accrington, Helen. And then I've got some seeds, just some mixed seeds, but whatever you've got in your cupboard. Hi, Rose and Ariadne, lovely to see you guys. And absolutely, Zoe, you can make without seeds. If you've got raisins or nuts or something else you want to chuck in, you could do that. I don't see why you couldn't add chocolate chips if you wanted to. So all kinds of things. That's why I like to give you recipes that you guys can be a bit flexible with, and you can, you know, change them up a bit. So make it one way today and then try it and see another time what else you want to, you know, add to it. So yeah, if you're dairy free, then you can just use a dairy free soya yogurt or, you know, like an Alpro or a coconut collaborative or something. And the same with the milk if you've got Oatly or something else. So the idea when you make bread is a bit like our soda bread. is you always want a kind of acid and alkali. So yogurt, as you know, is usually a little bit sour. Hi, Izzy. And that's what helps react with the bicarbonate of soda. So if you guys have ever done those school experiments, you know, when you get the volcano and it fizzes with Coca-Cola, this is the stuff you do. It's raining in Bristol as well. I know it's horrible today, isn't it? There's nothing nicer than when it's yucky to be in the nice warm kitchen. Hi, Ethan and Sophie. So bicarbonate of soda is what makes it fizz. And it needs something acidic to react to, like the yogurt. So if you don't have yogurt, that's why I'm saying you can sour your milk, or you can just add a bit of acid in there just by some lemon juice. I haven't taken mine out because I've got yogurt, but I normally keep a bottle of that lemon juice in the fridge, and that's really good to have. Hi, Yolanda. But if you don't have this, you can use baking powder. So baking powder has in it a little bit of bicarbonate of soda, but it has something else to kind of stabilize it. So that's why we use baking powder usually in cakes, because we don't need anything acidy and it just helps rise. But things like this are great for scones, when we use buttermilk, and anything slightly sour. We've used this quite a bit before. So hopefully that is the explanation. You have nothing but rays of sun. I'm not going to mention that, am I, Rose? Because that's going to make us all feel really miserable. It's obviously nice and sunny somewhere on the coast here. Hi, Ishat. So that's really all you need. And then you just need a nice big bowl. I'm using my glass bowl so you can see. Scales and a spoon. And then just back to this tin. So I've got a silicone tin. If you've got a metal tin, that's fine. And if you haven't got a tin, then just in the smallest kind of maybe like a baking dish that you've got, because you want it to be like a bread. So if you imagine you're making a bread, something quite high rather than quite flat. So any questions on the tins, just ask me. This silicone one will tip out really easily because her instructions in the recipe are to kind of bake it as it is for 45 minutes and then take it out of the tin and bake it just to crisp up on the outside for 5 minutes in the oven. So silicone works really well for that because it just tips out. This one I've put on my list if anybody wants to think about that after, but metal will be fine and should tip out fine too. Okay. Hi, Maya. Hi, Eden. It's so lovely to see you guys all today. So before I forget, and before you forget, you need to turn your ovens on. So 200 or fan 180. Yang, what's the recipe? The recipe today is we're making from this lovely cookbook, which is called My Fussy Eater. And we are making a porridge bread. I haven't got a picture here to show you, but I did put one up in the Facebook group if you have a look at the top. Hi, Ryan. And it's cloudy. Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think it stopped raining where I am, but anyway. Right, so if you have got all of your bits and bobs, we're going to pop on our aprons, tie up our hair, which I haven't done yet, and wash our hands. If you have, hi, Bilal. And then we will get going. Not a great look, but anyway, its hair is out of the way and in the right place. So get your ovens on. Like I said, 200 degrees or 180 fan. Get all your stuff out. It's super quick to make, and then we're going to measure them together. What would be better, fat-free natural yogurt or fat-free Greek yogurt? It really doesn't matter. I usually have Greek yogurt because that's what I prefer eating in the fridge. I prefer eating that. That's why it's in the fridge. But it really doesn't matter. For some things, if you want something really drippy and like more liquidy, then I would just get a regular yogurt, not a Greek yogurt. But it really is not going to make any difference for this. And I'm hoping, if nothing else from lockdown, that one of the things that you're going to get used to is you can pretty much substitute most things. So I'm hoping that's going to give you a bit more confidence in the kitchen, okay? So if we are ready to start, so give me a little thumbs up if you guys are ready to go. Just porridge, some sort of porridge oats, don't need to grind it, whatever you've got, big or small. Bit of salt. You should have some bicarb or baking powder. Hi, Imi and Ewan. And if you want any bits to add in there, then you can have seeds or raisins or nuts or anything you want. Hi, man. And then just in terms of the liquid, I've got 1 egg. And sorry, I should have said if you want to use an egg replacer, you can use an egg replacer. And actually here it would be really nice to use a chia or a flax egg. A bit of milk. I've got some milk and I've got some yogurt. And if you don't have yogurt, then just use the milk and a bit of lemon juice to sour it. Okay? Perfect. Good. So you're going to turn your scales on. We're going to do all our dry things first. So turn them on there. So you've got that G for grams. Pop your bowl on. And you can leave, this is a good test, so you can leave your spoon in there and just make sure it's on 0. So then you don't have to keep putting a dirty spoon out on the side. Hi, Amu. Hi, Sally. No yogurt. Can you help with the sour milk replacement? Yes, just milk. So all we're going to do is we're just going to add a bit of lemon juice into the milk, so it makes it a bit sour and it's going to react really well with the bicarb. So I'm hoping most of you, maybe I should do a little fridge list so you know what to keep in the fridge as well. Hi, Bondon Poncon, of course you can have a shout out. A bottle of lemon juice to keep in the fridge is really, really useful. Otherwise, I usually have, I don't know if you can see at the side there, I usually have a little nice jar. It looks nice in the kitchen with lemons, and just squeeze a little bit in there, okay? So that's the same for anybody that doesn't have yogurt or is doing dairy free and it's not very acidic, your yogurt, then just a little squeeze of lemon juice. And we'll do that when we get into the liquids, don't you worry. Okay, so we're going to start, as I said, with the dry stuff first, and we're going to need 400 grams of your oats. So you're just going to take your nice big bag, it's quite a lot, and you're going to pop in 400 grams. Remember, we are making like one loaf of bread, so we do need quite a bit. I think it's most of my bag. There we go, yeah, it's about 500 grams. Lovely. Millie is making it for Grandma. Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, it's a great gluten-free one. And actually, we had some gluten-free people doing the soda bread that we did, so you can do that sometimes quite successfully. But oat flour is really good. This is just oats. I mean, you can see there. This one's my one. If it looks a bit funny, it's just got a multi-seed mix, so it's already got some seeds in it. But you can actually grind up porridge. So this is a good one, Millie, for Grandma. You can just put it in the food processor and whiz it up, and you get what's called oat flour. You can't use it exactly the same in any cakes, but it does work pretty well. So you can always use oats to make flour if you're short. So like if you're ever making a recipe at home and you run out of flour and you need a bit extra, just whiz some oats up in a food processor. Hi, Alfie. Are you coming to do this as well? Great. So you should have 400 grams of dry oats, porridge oats in here. And some of them, as you can see, these ones, if I take a few out, I said to you, these are quite small. Can you see there? But if I take these ones that were quite big, it just really depends where you buy them. So some of you said you had jumbo oats. Oops. There we go. I'm trying to work out there the camera. Can you see I've got some big ones there, and then some of them are quite small. It really, really doesn't matter, okay? Whatever you've got is absolutely fine. How much oats, Gemma? It's 400 grams. Don't worry if it froze. And then we're just going to do the rest of the dry things. So if you guys are using seeds, I'm going to put a few more in. You can just give a couple of tablespoons or a little shake. I normally do a handful. So if you've got, this is a mix of linseeds and sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, as you can probably see there. So those could go in. If you want to do raisins, you could put some raisins in. Or like I said, if you want to do some chocolate chips or nuts or whatever you want, or you can leave it blank, it is fine. Yes, Kate, just put the, oh Millie, sorry, just put the oven on. So the oven should be on 200 or fan 180, please, okay? And you haven't missed anything, because all we've done is we've tipped in 400 grams, I will slow down, just 400 grams of oats in your bowl, and then just chuck in, fairly flexible today, whatever you want, whether it's seeds or raisins or whatever you're using, and then just give it a little stir, okay? So far, so easy today, isn't it? We need something easy for a not very sunny day for most of us. Okay, you're putting in chocolate chunks. Yeah, why not? I really like putting in seeds because they are so healthy. They're really good for you, and it's a bit of fun because when you bake your bread, you can play kind of hide and seek, because these seeds are so well camouflaged, aren't they? I've got quite a lot in there, but you can see a bit, but not a huge amount. And when they bake, they all stick together. If you remember, we did that with our soda breads. It was really good. So Alfie, when you're doing your raisins, you are the chef. So I normally put in like a few handful or something, and then mix it around so you can see. Because like now I know I've got enough seeds in, because pretty much there on the top and there, wherever I look, I can see that I've got some seeds. So you want to make sure it's spread all the way through, okay? But you are the chef, so there's no real guidance. I'm tweaking this recipe as I always do. So yes, pop all your dry things in. So hopefully you guys have got your oats and then whatever bits you're adding. And I will wait for you. And then we're going to do our baking powder or our bicarbonate of soda today, and some salt if you want to put some salt in. Kat, you don't have any yogurt. Is it the same volume of milk and a tablespoon of lemon? Yes. So actually, those of you that don't have any yogurt, what I normally do, and it's quite interesting to see, we've done this before, is you put some milk in a little jug or another bowl and chuck in a bit of lemon, and then just leave it and stir it around, and you'll see it gets really lumpy and bitty, and when you pour it out, you'll see that there's bits of solid like stuck to your spoon and stuck to the side of the bowl, and it's because it separates really into kind of curds and whey. So that's really what you want. So don't worry if it looks like it's gone off, it hasn't gone off, you're souring it, okay? Otherwise you can just chuck it all in the bowl in a minute, it doesn't really matter. You are doing coconut, chopped nut and cacao nibs. Ooh, very nice. I think I might be coming round to you Very nice. This is what I love. See, everybody's being so creative, and you're going to show me all of your things. You have to cut your loaf later so I can see all the insides. I like coconut, but I'm a bit of a loner in my house on the coconut. So how much milk for the yogurt? Exactly the same. So when we get onto the wet stuff, don't worry, I will tell you. So at the moment we are just dry, okay? So just 400 grams of oats, and then chuck in and stir up whatever you want in terms of bits. So we've got cacao nibs and coconut, we've got raisins, you could have dried fruit in there, that would be nice. You could have seeds like I've got, you could leave it blank, doesn't really matter, okay? And then what we're gonna pop in is we're gonna pop in 2 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda, okay? If you don't have bicarbonate, then just use your baking powder. So when we say a teaspoon, we don't mean a mega one like that, we mean generally a level teaspoon. So I just tap it on the side, but that sort of thing. If you've got measuring spoons and you wanna use that, use that. I always just use my teaspoons that I make tea with. So 1 goes in there, and that's number 2, okay? So 2 of those. And then if you're using salt, a little bit. If you're adding raisins, no, I mean, I don't normally put salt in, but because I'm keeping mine plain and it's not a sweet thing, I'm gonna put it in. But actually most cake recipes always have salt in. I just try and cut down my salt. So I'm not fussed either way. If you want to, you can, and if you don't, you don't need to. I'm just gonna put in half a teaspoon, so I'm not gonna put in very much, okay? So I'm just going to pop in a little half a teaspoon. And to be fair, usually I don't cook, when I'm cooking with the children, I don't usually put salt in. So it's very much up to you. Ground almonds, yeah, why not? Just as a little bit. You won't really see them so much. So if it's more for kind of health kick, Zoe, then absolutely put them in there. If you want kind of crunch and texture, then maybe if you've got some little chopped up nuts, like toasted hazelnuts or something like that, then I'd probably put those in. But this is what's great about this bread. You'll try it and you'll see what you want next time. And then I just want you to mix in, really importantly, all of that white powder so I can't see it, because we want to make sure that that bicarbonate is spread all the way through our bowl. So it brings out the flavour, yeah. And that's what most people say, but I don't normally put it in cakes because I don't think you really need it. And it's the same when people say, should it be salted butter or unsalted butter? So if you've got salted butter, that's fine. Claire, the oven is on at 200 or 180 fan, okay? So you should just stir it. Shouldn't be too difficult, shouldn't take too long, but you should just see that it's all in. So this is a bit like some of us are making flapjacks, aren't we, on Saturday? So this is going to be similar kind of technique. So we're just mixing all the dry first. And if you've got a glass bowl or plastic bowl like me, you can always check at the bottom that everything is mixed in. Okay. So give me a thumbs up when you've got all of your dry bits in, because that's literally all we do. It's super easy. Keep your seeds and other bits out, because you can always sprinkle some on the top of your loaf when it goes into bake if you want to. So I'm going to do that, but it's up to you. So you can see what you want. You need butter. I don't think you do need butter. What do you need butter for? Oh, I see butter on the top. No, you don't need any butter. You don't need any butter. Just oats, salt, bicarbonate in there, and then we're going to add in all the liquid, okay? You could definitely have salted, but I was just talking about salted butter because somebody was asking me about salt, but you don't need butter for this recipe. Butter on the top of the bread, definitely, but not now. Okay, good. Right, so we're going to do our wet stuff, okay? So I've got a little egg. So I'm just going to crack my egg into a little bowl so that I can show you and we can practice, but also so that I can beat it up before it goes in the big bowl. So we're going to tap, tap, tap. And then make a nice little crack. You can hear that sound. And then with the hole pointing down, like always, we're going to put our thumbs in and pull it apart and just get that egg in there. Okay? And then I'm just going to beat that up. Oh, I had a fork, but you could do a spoon. I'm just going to mix that up. If you want to do all your liquids together, you can do, but I don't like washing up too much, so I'm just going to put all mine in. But this way it's easier just to mix up my eggs. So you should have something that looks a bit scrambled eggy, okay? That's all we need. And if you're, yeah, well, that's fine. If you are using an egg replacer, then do exactly the same. So if you've got a chia or flax egg, then you're just going to want, I think it's a tablespoon, isn't it, to 3 of water, and put that down. If you're using the all ground, the same thing, always do it in a separate bowl and just mix it up, okay? And then just put it to one side. So I'm just going to recap so everybody's good. So 400 grams of your porridge in there. We've got a little teaspoon or 2 teaspoons of baking powder, or bicarbonate really, it should be bicarbonate, but for those of you doing baking powder, that will work too. A little half a teaspoon of salt if you're putting that in. Don't worry, I'm not going, I'm just telling you what we're doing, and then you can catch up. Oh, we got lots that are I'm a bit too fast today. Okay, I'm slowing down. So you can tell me when you're done. So we've just, as I said, just got the oats in here, all the dry stuff, a bit of our bicarbonate, 2 teaspoons, a little half a teaspoon of salt if you want that, and then some seeds or nuts or coconut or whatever else you're putting in there. Anything dry goes in the dry bowl first, and then really good stir to make sure that it's all mixed in, particularly that bicarbonate, so you shouldn't see any white bits. Okay, and then all we've done was we started with our wet stuff, and I've just cracked my 1 egg in here. And if you're using an egg replacer, do the same, just in a little bowl, just have an egg or an egg replacer onto one side. Okay, good. Perfect. That's all. I'm going to wait for you. Don't worry. Don't worry. Nobody's going to get left behind today. Good. So when you guys are all done and you're all ready, then you can give me a thumbs up and I will know. It looks like most of you are done, but I just want to wait a bit, okay? So like I said, it's so easy. It's very, very, very quick. So the only thing that takes a long time is actually just the shoving it in the oven. And you'll bake it later and then it'll be perfectly warm in time for tea. Good. And you can have it warm is lovely, absolutely. It's best time to have it warm with butter and jam, or you could put all kinds of things on it. So those of you, oh good, I'm glad most of you are good. Those of you that are thinking about, you know, cacao nibs and things like that, you might want chocolate spread on it, or maybe Nutella, or I don't know, peanut butter, something like that. So you can tell me later what your loaf was like plain and what toppings you put on it, okay? So, right. Do I want to build a snowman? I don't know. Should I do that today? I don't think the weather's that bad. I don't think we need to build a snowman. It's raining here. I don't think it's snowing, and I don't think it's snowing where anybody is, hopefully, but we'll see. Okay. So if you guys are good, we're going to do our liquids. Now, I'm going to put mine straight in the bowl, in my mixing bowl, so I don't have to do too much washing up. If you want to do it separately, you can do it separately in another bowl or a jug. But most importantly, what I want to do is we want to turn our scales on. And do you remember, we measure liquids not in G for grams, we measure them in ml for milliliters. So when you turn your scales on, you want to press the little unit button. I'm just going to show you mine, and you press it round until you get ml for milliliters. Can you see there? So that's what you want to do. And then you can pop your bowl back on, and I'm going to pop mine back on with the spoon as well, and then just press it onto 0 so that we start at 0 again. A bit like your afternoon maths lesson, this, isn't it? Good. Okay. So I'm going to put in my milk first. There's not very much of it. So for those of you that do not have the yogurt, so basically we're going to do 50 milliliters of milk, and then we're going to do 500 grams of yogurt. So if you're doing the milk, you can just put the milk in with us now, and then when we do the yogurt, you can put in more milk. It'll be fine. Okay. So yogurt, because it's quite thick, often you'll see a measurement in grams, but to be honest, grams and milliliters are very much the same. So do not panic if you measure it in one and it should be the other, it's really fine. So we only need 50 milliliters of milk. So we're going to do nice slow pouring. Now, if you've got a big bottle of milk, like mine you can see is just at the end, I'm probably going to use all of this. Be really careful pouring it because you don't want to pour too much in. So if you're not sure, then maybe take out another bowl and just pour it into another bowl, because once you poured it in there, you can't pour it back in the milk bottle, can you? So we're just going to do 50, so we'll go slow. Hoping I've got enough in this one. I might have to get my other one out. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Oh, almost finished. What does it have to be at? Do you mean the oven? Oh, yours doesn't have milliliters. Okay, so just do it in grams. Just do it in grams. Usually, if you've got electric scales, and this is why these ones that I kind of recommended for you, these are just from Argos, but I did put another one on my list. The best ones, I think, do not have a button, and they've got the unit change on the front. But sometimes you might find it on this front edge, or you might find it on the back. So they pretty much always have one. It's not very handy on the back, obviously, but have a little look, Catherine. You might find it's hiding somewhere and you didn't notice it. The egg I'm just going to pop in. You can pop the egg in now if you want to. I'm just put my milk in, and you can see it's started to soak up. It's only a small bit, really, really small bit. Okay. So yes, so Sally says put the egg in, so we can pop the egg in if you'd like to as well. So pop the egg in, nice and yellow. How many grams? Exactly the same. So Catherine, if you're doing the milk, so we've got 50, then put in 50 grams of milk, okay? And then we're going to weigh the yogurt. So those of you that have got yogurt, we are going to do it in grams. Those of you that don't have yogurt and are using your milk with a bit of lemon juice, you can just do that as well. 50 grams, Catherine, okay? Oh, sorry, yeah, so 50 grams of milk if you can't do milliliters, and then we're going to do another 500 grams of yogurt now, okay? So I'm going to pop mine onto 0. Hold on. and I'm going to pop mine in. So mine's quite thick. I'm going to use most of this. Oh, I actually ran out. I need a bit more, so I'm going to get my other yogurt out from the fridge. Okay. And if you didn't have enough, like I've got, and you didn't have, you're having to use a jug, that's perfect. Oh, no more washing up. I know, it's okay. How much milk if you don't have the yogurt? It's exactly the same. So you could do it in grams. Just pour in 500 grams of milk and then just pop in a little bit of lemon juice just to sour it. So like I've got 300 here. I don't have it. I have actually got more yogurt in the fridge, so I'm just going to get that out. But then you could also do a mix and match, and you could just top the rest up. So you need kind of 550 in total. How much soya for replacing yogurt? Exactly the same if you're using soya yogurt for Alfie. So it's basically 500 of yogurt and then 50 milliliters of milk. So if you don't have, so think of it as 550 in total. So just put 550 of whatever you have. If that's all milk, do it all milk, but make sure you put in some lemon juice to sour it. And if you've got, soy yogurt, just replace exactly the same as normal yogurt. So Catherine, on the yogurt, it's 500 grams of yogurt. So I'm just going to dash to my fridge and get the rest of my yogurt out. How much yogurt? It froze 500 grams, okay? So 500 of yogurt and 50 milliliters of milk, okay? And if you don't have enough, just bring it up, both of them, to 550. So I'm just going to get my extra bit. Perfect. So this will show you, actually, for those of you that are asking about Greek yogurt. So this is 2 different brands of Greek yogurt. I should have taken this one out because this one actually is 500 grams. And you'll see this one is nowhere near as thick. So it just really depends. So I'm going to put in another 200. So it's a really good breakfast because it's got all of the stuff in there that we need. It's got lots of dairy and lots of seeds for protein and all kinds of stuff. So you've got soy milk. Soy milk's absolutely fine. So those of you substituting either because you don't have yogurt or because you've got your dairy free, basically it should be 500 grams of yogurt, whether that's dairy free yogurt or regular yogurt, and then 50 mils of milk. If you don't have any yogurt at all, dairy or otherwise, then just put in the full 550 of the milk, but just put in a splash of lemon juice, and that will help curdle it and sour it, okay? And then all we're going to do, I'm going to take my scales away, is we're just going to mix it in now. And this is going to be a bit of hard work. So it's a bit like some of us made birch and muesli together. And this is kind of the same sort of thing. You could leave it in the fridge to soak overnight. So you can see all that yellow egg, you probably got the same as being mushed in. So it's a mush and a smush. It looks quite hard, doesn't it? Basically, we want it into a really sticky paste. Could you do the lemon trick with non-dairy milk? Yeah, you can. And sometimes I do that. In fact, you know what? Let me just put this in a little glass and I'll show you what I mean. So, I know we've done this quite a few times before because I like showing it to you. So this is only a small bit at the end of my milk, but you'll just see it. And let me get a bit of lemon juice. So I always keep something like this in the fridge, just a little bit of lemon juice. And you'll see, so my milk is obviously white and it's completely liquid, completely clear in my glass, yeah? So if I put a bit of lemon juice in, I'm putting a lot so it will be a bit quicker. And my milk, by the way, is only ever semi-skimmed, so it works quicker and better. There's too much milk, it isn't soaking. It should do, it should soak it up. And you'll see already, can you see the bottom of my glass looks a bit dirty, like it's kind of got solids in, and if I lift it out with my spoon, you'll see, and there it just curdles. So I'm just gonna mix that in. The yogurt will obviously make it a bit firm, and you might need a bit more time in the oven, but it should work, and it will be fine, don't panic. As long as you measured it out properly. Hi, Bilal. So some of you will have something that looks a bit thicker, like mine. And also don't forget, it depends on your porridge oats and seeds and things like that. Some are more absorbent than others. So don't worry, porridge is really absorbent and it will soak it up. Lots of vegan recipes use the lemon juice. Yes, they do. Yeah, I've been doing that for years, but I do like it. It's fun. And because it really looks, like you can see already, look how dirty my glass is. And it just sours it. Basically what happens, it's like a bit of a science lesson here, isn't it? Is lemon juice, or you could use a bit of fresh lemon, is an acid, so it reacts with the alkali, it's opposite, and it has a explosive reaction, and that's what you want. So by putting the lemon juice in, it really helps. And actually that's the same reason that a lot of vegan recipes, because you don't have eggs, they use apple cider vinegar or things like that. Is it 500 milliliters or 500 grams of yogurt? Yeah, 500 grams if you can weigh the yogurt, but I know some of us didn't have scales that worked, so I said don't worry, it's the same. Of course you can have a shout out, Bilal. You can have a shout out. So I've got really, it looks like a kind of really stiff Bircher muesli thing. Yours might be a little bit softer, but as I always say when I want to see your bottom, check that you can really get right to the bottom. So if it's looking really liquidy, make sure that you have actually soaked in all of the porridge, okay? So give me a thumbs up when you're good. And remember, it's a bit like, you know, when you make porridge in the morning, like in the winter, oh, you had to add a little bit more lemon. Perfect, that's fine. So you know when you make porridge and it looks lovely when it comes out of the pan, and then you're thinking it's too hot, I'm going to leave it for a bit, and by the time you come back it's like wallpaper paste and cement, isn't it? You could stand your spoon up in it like that, like I can now. And that's what happens. So it will just keep absorbing, do not worry. It looks like a really nice bowl of granola, it does. It's like our Bircher muesli really. So then what you want to do is take your tin. So whatever tin you're doing, this is a 2 pound loaf tin or a 900 gram is a standard size loaf tin. So if you've got anything like this, whether it's metal or silicone, it will be exactly the same. And you're just going to spoon all of your stuff in there. It is a bit like cement, isn't it? It's a bit heavy at the moment, so it's not dropping in like a cake, but don't worry. So pop it all in there. And that one. Probably not one that you're desperately keen to lick the bowl for, but it will be worth it afterwards. So I'm just going to spread mine in. Now, if you've got silicone, this is one of the reasons I like it. Watch this. You can take it and you can give it a big bang. A bit noisy, sorry. I would do it a bit louder, but I don't want to burst your ears. But you'll see it starts to level out. But I'm still going to use my spoon. So you just want to push it into all the corners, make it nice and flat. And it's really easy. If you want to do it with your fingers, you can do it with your fingers. It doesn't need to be beautifully flat, but it needs to be sort of level, is what I mean, really. And then always use your finger, scrape it off the back of the spoon so you get it all out. Okay. So really just like that. Degrease the tin. You shouldn't need to, certainly not on silicone. If you're using, that's what I was saying at the beginning, if you're using a metal one and you think it gets stuck in the corners, then absolutely you can line it with baking paper. But I don't normally. So you're cool. You could grease too instead of line. I mean, normally I have to say, I would line it rather than grease it. And the reason for that is then you can pull on the paper and lift the whole thing out. It will just be a bit easier. Particularly because the original recipe says, you know, bake it for 45 minutes and then take it out and put the cake or the bread back actually just on the shelf in the oven to let the outside crisp up. So if you want to do that, because it will be really hot in a metal tin, it will be easier for you if you put the baking paper in, because you'll be able to lift it out a bit easier, okay? So I hope that makes sense, Celeste. I'm just going to wash my fingers. And then when it's in there and it's nice and flat, you can just decorate it if you want to, just a sprinkle of seeds. I probably wouldn't put chocolate on the top in case that burns, because it's going to be in the oven for 45 minutes. And the same with raisins, because raisins can burn in that time too. But if you've got any nice seeds or anything like that that you want to put on the top, so I'm just going to give a little sprinkle. Like that. And I might give it just a gentle pat down. I'll show you in a minute. Partly because it sticks, then also because when I lift it up, it's not going to fall on top of you. Can you see? So I've got some seeds there. Oops, I've got sticky hands. Okay. Perfect. And that is basically it. Does it freeze? Yes. It's she says here about 3 days. I can never answer these questions because in my house nothing lasts that long. But yes, you can freeze it. Usually with things like with bread that you make at home, it's the same for all the other breads we've done. You've got to remember that most of the stuff in the supermarket has a lot of preservative in, so your bread will stay soft for a lot longer. So sometimes when you make your own, you think, oh, it's a bit dry. It's not stale. It's just has dried out because it doesn't have the preservative, but it's still just as delicious, like toasted or anything like that. So don't not eat it and throw it away. It just won't be. It's like any cake. They're always nicer, fresher, like when you make them, okay? So this is going to go in the oven for 45 minutes. It will then be baked. What she suggests, which is really nice, is that you tip it out. So be really careful, get your grown-ups to help you with that. Maybe put a hand on the top with an oven glove, obviously, and tip it out. Or tip it out onto like a little rack, like I've got a little trivet there or something like that. and then just carry it with the oven gloves back into the oven for another 5 minutes. And that will just mean, like a cake, that it gets all nice and brown and crispy all the way around, okay? And then basically you're done. So you can let it cool. When it's nice and warm, which it will be by tea time, you can cut it into slices and have a nice piece. So it's just a different way of kind of eating breakfast, really, isn't it? Because we've got the porridge and the dairy and the seeds, and some of you have got dried fruit in there and all kinds of things. So that is it. So super, super easy today, but hopefully something really yummy for breakfast. Have it for tea. So those of you that were doing sweet things, let me know what it tasted like. Let me know what you put on top of it. So I might have mine with some butter later and maybe some jam. I might have it with Marmite or something. So Sally, 45 minutes in the oven at 200 or 180 fan, and then tip it out and then do another 5 minutes so that it gets crunchy. If you can't be bothered with that, then just put the whole thing in for 50 minutes, okay? So Jason as well, did you hear that? 45 minutes, and then in 5 minutes if you want to take it out of the tin and just let the extra last 5 minutes make it go crunchy on the outside, or if not, just put the whole thing in for 50, it'll be fine. You can't wait, good. I'm gonna get mine in too. So Munyon, this was what we're making. It's a porridge bread, okay? So I haven't, because obviously ingredients are a bit scarce, I'm trying to be good with them. I haven't got one to show you that I made earlier, but as soon as this is done, 45 minutes, I will take another picture and share that here. So please do, I hope you really enjoyed the class. Please do share your photos here. Let me know how you got on. Let me know what toppings you had and what was in there. You have to cut a piece so I can see what's hiding in the middle. So all these seeds are like little army generals. They're all camouflaged. You won't be able to see them, so they look fantastic. So I hope you enjoyed. You are very welcome. And like I said, yeah, share the photos, and I will see you same time next week for another cook along. Thank you guys for joining me. Bye.